What's up, you bundles of sticks? Metal Beast here, back with a new video. Some news went viral last week. It was a Pew Research article showing that for the first time ever, more 12th grader high school boys than girls wanted to get married and have kids, which is the first in history. And also just the latest in the longest string of news that men and women are diverging and drifting apart politically and socially and ideologically. And instead of blackpilling, I wanted to kind of take a break from that. You probably get enough of that already. Instead, I want to talk about how to actually wade through all this crap and all the bad news and try to find a wife in 2026 if you're a Zoomer. Once again, obligatory channel plug. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, or you're gay. Now, full disclosure, I'm a millennial. I'm 40 years old. I'm still single, never been married, no kids. And believe me, I know it's hard out there for you young guys. We've got inflation, we've got stagflation, we've got hoeflation, we got all the flations working against us. I'm not going to be like these other cringe millennial content creators saying, you just got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and you need to man up. Look, I know it's hard. The world's falling apart. Western civilization's collapsing. You're doing the best you can. I get it. Also, I'm not going to be teaching you guys how to hook up with a bunch of girls. That's very millennial and gay and haram. We're not doing that anymore. If you're looking for that kind of video, this isn't it. This is about marriage and family and all that good stuff, so you can have a legacy to pass on when the West collapses. And also, this is a guide on how to do this without being a passport bro and going to the Philippines and finding you a 4-foot-tall Jolly Bina with a pancake nose and a bad accent. If you like Jolly Binas, hey, that's your business, but I'm just saying you don't have to go to another country. So first things first, where not to look for a wife. Number one, online dating. Just no. It's a godless cesspool. You're dealing with all sorts of competition because we all know that women get more matches online than men. They get more messages. Very brutal out there, especially if you're an average guy. Yeah, if you're some 6'2" Chad who works in finance and has a six-pack, yeah, you probably do fine. If you're that, you don't need this video anyway. But if you're not, just don't do online dating. It's really bad. And also, too, because when you're using these dating apps and interacting with girls, they're not primed to like you. They're not just using the dating app and frolicking in the garden and having a great day. No, they're probably laying in bed rotting, doom scrolling through a bunch of dark feminine content or men ain't shit type stuff, or about how men are garbage and how you need to be, how to be a gold digger or just die alone with your cats or keep girl bossing. She's not psychologically primed to be receptive to a good man. So I would say just based on that alone, avoid the apps. Another place to avoid, the workplace, but only if it's a white collar job. So if you work in some kind of business, you got to dress up for work, or you have like an HR department and you're working with girl bosses, just avoid it because HR is not your friend. Most workplaces have an anti-fraternization policy, meaning you can't date your coworkers. Also, you're going to be dealing with a lot of girl bosses and ambitious types, and that's obviously a no-no. But if you do work at a type of job like at a restaurant, a retail store, service industry, that's fair game. Look, restaurants, everybody's dating everybody. It's part of the culture there. And if you get fired, it's a lot easier to get a new restaurant job than it is to get a new lawyer job. Part 3, where do you actually meet women? The number one theme of all these is outside activities where you're touching grass and interacting with real people. Anything like that is better than meeting women through the internet. So book clubs, very good option. Women read way more than men, so there'll be a lot of women there. Obviously, avoid the smut book clubs where they read 50 Shades of Grey and the Minotaur Milking book. It's a real book. I'm not making that up. Do that. Those girls are a lot more likely to be smarter and can have a conversation. Volunteering. Animal shelters, food banks, churches, charities. That filters out women who are more kind and selfless, more wife material. They're doing things for other people. They're not always thinking about themselves. That's a good one. Recreational sports, obviously, volleyball, kickball, soccer, these kind of co-ed leagues. Those are fun. It's very low stakes. I think sports are especially good because, people are usually in a good mood. They're physically active. They're avoiding technology. You get the endorphins rocking, so they're in a good mood. And all these avenues are great because they're a way to meet lots of women in a low stakes environment where you can get to know them and find out if you like them before asking them out. Even if most of those girls are in relationships, they probably have friends who don't. So that's always a good thing too. Another good place, school and university. I would still say even now, although things are a lot harder than it was, I admit, colleges are gay and liberal. We all know that. No denying it at this point. This only applies if you're in school. So if you're not in college and you want to go to college just to find a wife, don't do that. That's actually not a good idea. But schools are still a good place. I mean, you can still build familiarity with women in your classes or even at the library if you see them enough. And also, as a young man especially, school is probably the best place to meet a lot of women in a short amount of time in a way that you never will for the rest of your life. I mean, there's no other time in your life where you're going to have thousands of young women around your age at the same state of your life than you will be at school. So some foundational steps. This is more based on you and what you need to do to become a man worth marrying and get your life together. And bear in mind, you don't have to be perfect at all these things. You don't have to be a Giga Chad right away. Everyone's a work in progress, even the women you want. They're not perfect either. But obviously, number one, you got to get your faith and morals right. Now, I'm a Catholic. Maybe you are or not. If you're not, I would suggest you do. But if you're not, you need to be a man who is seeking God, or at the very least, a man who believes in objective truth. If you don't believe in objective truth, you don't believe in anything. So fix that. But at least get your morals right. You got to know right from wrong. Don't be a degenerate. Don't sleep around. Be an honest man. Don't lie. Also, if you're watching adult haram stuff, stop doing that. It's rotting your brain. It's evil. And I'll be fair, it's hard to quit. I struggle with it too. So I'm not judging you. But we'd all be better off if we just got rid of it altogether. So do your best to do that. I'll provide some resources in the description on how to quit adult haram material. Next thing, get in shape. Especially if you're young. Now is the best time to get in shape and lose fat if you're already fat is when you're younger. You don't want to be 45 and try to get in shape for the first time. By then, your knees are all shot, your back hurts, your hip hurts. Everything gets harder. Your testosterone's lower as well. Get in shape now while you're young. You still have testosterone. You still have a working back. And do that, not just for the looks maxing, although that does matter. Also to feel better about yourself and your body. And also because you don't want to be running around during the apocalypse with a gut. It's just not going to work. So get in shape. World's ending. Get with the times. I also suggest taking up a combat sport, some kind of physical activity. So boxing, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, wrestling, judo. These are important not just because they help you get in shape, but also because they help cultivate physical mastery over yourself and confidence and discipline. And women sense this immediately. Knowing how to fight is super important as a man. I don't care if you have a gun and a knife and you know how to use them. A gun is way better than having a black belt in jiu-jitsu for self-defense. However, having a gun and knowing how to use it is not going to build the same kind of confidence in yourself and cultivate your masculinity as a man that knowing jiu-jitsu will. And maybe you don't like combat sports. Maybe you're like, I don't like jiu-jitsu and fighting. I like tennis and soccer. Look, I get it. Not everyone can be a heterosexual. But if you really love tennis and soccer that much, it's better than nothing. Just do some kind of physical activity. Don't be a fat slob. Another thing, too, have some sort of plan for the future. If you're not in college, I would say, for the most part, don't go. Colleges are gay and liberal. Unless you don't need to pay for it because of scholarships or what have you. But also bear in mind, it's still going to suck a little bit. It's going to be a very hostile, toxic environment. But if you're not paying for it, at least you're not taking on debt. Or unless you really are dead set on becoming a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, or something that requires a college degree. If you're not interested in that, don't even go. You're just going to be taking on a lot of debt, and you're going to be around a bunch of angry feminists and crazy progressive teachers. Career-wise, I suggest going to the trades. They're much more AI-proof than white-collar jobs. It's going to be hard for a robot to change light bulbs and install air conditioners for a good while, at least. You could also, if you don't want to go to college, you can go into tech still, although it is really, really hard and not for most people. The tech interview process is absolutely brutal. I've been through it. It sucks. You basically have to have a college education to get through them, but you can do it with enough self-study without it. I can provide a couple links in the description as well. But the point of all these things is, like I said before, you don't have to have everything together. You don't have to be perfect, have the perfect job, have a house, all these things. I know a lot of red pill content and a lot of the content out there says that you do, but when you interact with women in the real world and they get to know you as a person, women aren't just attracted to the things you provide. They are attracted to, in most cases, really your character. They want to know that you have the character and the personality of a guy who can do those things, not necessarily that you have them right now. And I think when you bypass all the rot that the internet world provides and you interact with women in the real world, you can bypass these things. Yes, dating is harder nowadays, but if you're a man of character and if you are a guy that believes in what he's doing and has some hope and some plan for the future and is working towards that, you can still find a good woman. Stick to your morals, believe in your conviction, because dating in a lot of ways they say is like a giant shit test. But also, I would say it's more like a giant game of chicken where men and women are trying to see who's going to give up first. And the thing is, women want to lose. They want to lose the game of chicken. They want to be the one that gives in first because they want to know that you're stronger than them. Yeah, a lot of this stuff is crazy and women can be hostile, but they're really not. I mean, deep down, it's very hard to understand, but they don't think like us. We always have to bear that in mind. I can tell you this. If you do all these steps, if you get in shape, start getting your career in order, stop watching the haram stuff, I can't promise you'll find a wife in 2026, but I do promise that you'll feel better, you'll be healthier, and you'll feel more confident in yourself. And you'll be closer to finding a wife than you ever were. So yeah, if you guys want some more advice, especially on how to talk to girls and rizz them up, I can do a video on how to rizz the huzz in 2026. Just let me know. And thank you guys for watching. And like, comment, share, and subscribe, or you're a homo.